Hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome. Happy Sunday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi, and I am your ex-corporate grinder. I used to work in a call center corporate environment many years, putting in 12, 14, 16-hour days, 6 days a week, often 7 days a week. Yeah, until my pancreas shut down, quit on me, left me unemployable. I can't even get a job with what I got and with nothing to fall back on. I don't know if you've ever hit rock bottom like that. I do not recommend it because it's stunk. And so I got redirected to this whole online space and this gig economy. Now I help folks like you, like me, to start a side gig online, and we grow it using social media. If that resonates with you, if you've been thinking about it, maybe you've been redirected. I was stubborn for a little bit, but if you're like, I got to make some extra money. It's the holidays, and I just want more tax write-off, whatever it may be, and you like the idea of it being flexible, go to sidegigshawn.com. I have a few questions I'm asking you so we get to know each other a little bit more, and I'll reach out to you as soon as you fill that out. And let's have that conversation. Sheelite, what's up? How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for all the loves. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. You're going to love this story tonight. So I got a story for you tonight. Hello, hi. So for those of you who are new to my lives, I love stories and I love collecting them. I love sharing them. Not that everything you share with me, I share with others, but I love to share stories and collect them. So, and if it's a true story, then I'm really all over it. Like, I really love that. Tonight is not a true story, but it's a powerful story, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So, here goes the story. There's a donkey in the field having his old day, his old he's having his grass, if you would. He's just chewing on some fresh grass, and all of a sudden he feels like he also ate with the grass a bee. So he's chewing this grass in his mouth, and his tongue gets stung by this bee. He's forced to open his mouth, and the bee flies out and saves its life. The donkey gets really mad because of the pain of the stinging and yells at the bee and says, "You're going to have to pay for this." Bee's all like, "Wait a minute, you were going to eat me alive, and I was just defending myself." The donkey stubborn and says no, and he's very angry. He says, "No, you still stung me, and I'm in pain because of you. You're going to have to pay for this." So the bee starts to take off because he kind of sees that the donkey means kind of business. Bee takes off, and guess what the donkey does? Follows the bee. Follows the bee to its bee nest. Gets right in front of the nest and stops and screams and says, "Who is the queen of this nest?" The queen comes out and says, "I am the queen of this nest. What's the problem?" And the donkey says, "Listen, one of your bees stung my tongue, and he needs to pay for it." Queen says, all right, calm down. You seem to be okay. You're not hurt that much. It was probably just self-defense. And please accept my apologies and let's move on. The donkey's pissed. Says, "No, The bee must pay for it. You called the bee out here. The queen sees the donkey is pretty pissed, says, "Who among you bees have stung the tongue of the donkey?" This one scrawny little bee, all shaken up, comes up and says, "It was me. It was me." But this is what happened. He was chewing on the grass and he chewed me inside his mouth, and I was just protecting myself. So the queen turns around to the donkey and says, "Look, my bee is pretty sad about this, and he's apologetic. However, we forgive this and move on, since nobody's really that hurt." The donkey's not having it. Says, "No way. I want this bee paying the price. You must hang the bee. You must order its death." The queen sees how angry the donkey is and how everybody else in the nest is all shaken up, all scared. The donkey says, "If you don't do it, I'm going to step over your nest and kill everybody." So the queen says, okay, fine. So she orders the hanging of the small bee. Small bee comes up and says, "But why do I have to pay for this? Where is justice for me?" And the queen bee says, "Listen, in life, when you deal with a donkey, they are stubborn and they don't understand logic. And there is no justice for them in their own head. That's just how life sometimes is." That's a powerful story. We come across a lot of donkeys in our lives. Hey, I'm going to call it. Maybe you and I have been a donkey in the past, or maybe you still are, where we are stubborn about change, stubborn about forgiveness, stubborn about grace, justice, stubborn about not learning, not wanting. There's a lot of times where we play the donkey, right? You get to encounter people that you can't have a logical, regular conversation with. They are so stuck in their own little box that it's impossible to have a conversation with them. And yet sometimes we continue to wanting to have that conversation so that we convince them about something. Maybe somebody is so stubborn about not even being open to taking a look at a side business, a side gig. It's something very different than what they're already doing. Maybe they're so stubborn about that, right? But what do? Sometimes we want this so much more for them that we are even more of a donkey, stubborn. We don't understand that we're trying to convince, right? I'm asking you, recognize the donkeys in your life. For one, make sure you're not one, right? You don't play that game. Thank you for all the loves. Sumir, how are you? Good to see you on Facebook. So, one, make sure you don't play the donkey. And two is that when you get to encounter somebody like that, brush it off. I did a live on this a few nights ago where, you just say, "I understand," and you move on. And I'll leave you with this. When you say "I understand," it doesn't mean you agree. It doesn't mean that. It's just that you understand for them. And that's it. So don't be the donkey and leave the donkey alone. With that, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. Let this feed grow. You may know somebody that could get value from this live. Maybe you want to tell them this, but you don't want to tell them this. So let me do it. Tag him here, share this with them, and let's get them value like you have. And if you're not following me, well, you can if you like. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Threads. I go with Side Gig Sean, and I recommend you follow me on more than one channel. That would probably be good. And with that, I am Sean Azimi. I am your ex-corporate grinder. I used to work in a corporate environment, call center environment for many, many years, putting in 14, 16-hour days of 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, until my pancreas quit, shut down on me, and left me unemployable. Can't even get a job with what I got. And I had nothing to fall back on. So I had rock bottom pretty bad. I don't recommend it. So I got redirected to this whole online space. Now I help folks like you, like me, to start a side business, side gig, online, and we grow it using social media. If you've been thinking about it, if you're serious or curious, go to sidegigshawn.com, answer a couple of questions so I get to know you a little bit more. And as soon as I get those answers, I will be reaching out to you and we'll have that conversation. With that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again.